The first time I experienced a breathwork session, I levitated. My body literally lifted off the floor, or at least that's what it felt like. At the time, I had never really heard of breathwork. I was going through a heartbreak, and a dear friend recommended it as a way to move some of the emotional stuckness I was carrying. And wow, it worked. I felt like I had left my body entirely. I was catapulted into another state of mind, lighter, blissful, more clear somehow. And all of it was happening through the breath, a very specific and powerful breathing technique, but breath nonetheless. Back then, it was simply called breathwork. Today, there are many names for these activating styles of breathwork, but what happened that day completely changed the direction of my life. That experience showed me, in a way nothing else ever had, that the breath is a gateway. But to what? That became the question. That one afternoon began 20 years of practice, research, and teaching. And I can say from my own experience that conscious breathing can alter our states of mind and body. I have found that the way you breathe can induce activating, balancing, or calming effects. And once you truly understand, or better yet, experience the power of your breath, you can use specific breathing techniques to help manage stress and regulate your nervous system. For example, have you ever noticed that when you're stressed, maybe you're in traffic or almost got in an accident, maybe you're about to have a difficult conversation at home or at work, or waiting for some financial or medical news? Whatever the stressor, and in this life there are many, there is usually an automatic physical response. Your heart races, your thoughts spiral, and you may or may not notice that the breath changes. It can become shallow, rapid, maybe even hard to breathe. So if you're able to notice this as it's happening, there's a simple technique that can help. Just breathe. But not just any old way. A few slow breaths with long exhales can make a big difference. You may have heard this simple instruction before, but it's actually backed by some remarkable science. I'm here to tell you how and why it actually works, and I'll also share an easy breathing technique we can practice together. So if this kind of practical teaching and practice supports you, hit subscribe so we can continue this exploration together. I'm Vajra, and I've been practicing yoga, meditation, and breathing practices for over 20 years. It started out as a curiosity, but this exploration became a real turning point in my life. It actually led me to living in a yogic ashram in Costa Rica for some years. While I was there, the teacher asked me to begin leading breathing sessions for retreats. Honestly, I wasn't even sure I knew how, but I started practicing every day, and then slowly over time, something very tangible began shifting. My mood, my energy, my mind felt clearer, steadier, quieter, more open and expansive after practice. My meditations were effortlessly longer and more peaceful, and the students I was guiding began reporting palpable shifts in themselves as well. They felt calmer or more balanced or more activated depending on the practices we were focusing on. And that's when it became undeniable to me. Breath isn't just a relaxation technique, it's a bridge into the nervous system, into emotional regulation, into meditation. Practically speaking, it's one of the fastest ways to change your physical, mental, and emotional state. And yet, most of us are walking around with this extraordinary tool available to us at every moment without ever really being taught how to use it. So let's learn. In yoga, conscious breathing is called pranayama. And there are hundreds of techniques that demonstrate that our ability to influence the breath can influence the entire nervous system. And incredibly, these practices were discovered thousands of years ago, long before modern science had the language to explain why they work on the nervous system. The ancient wisdom traditions gave us profound insights and practical tools for regulating the body and the mind, not only becoming calm and clear, but for deeper peace, deeper presence, and a deeper sense of purpose. Today, modern science is beginning to confirm much of what these traditions discovered through direct experience centuries ago. So let's talk about why. From a science-backed physiological standpoint, your breath is one of the only systems in your body that is both automatic and conscious. Your heartbeat is automatic. It beats without you asking it to. Your digestion happens without your input. You breathe all day, most likely without thinking about it, and yet you can also consciously change its rhythm at any moment, which means the breath becomes one of the most direct ways we can communicate with the nervous system itself. And to understand why that works, it helps to understand a little bit about how the nervous system operates. Your nervous system is responsible for regulating automatic functions like heart rate, breathing, digestion, blood pressure, and it has two modes. The first is the sympathetic nervous system, what most people know as fight, flight, or freeze. And when this is activated, heart rate increases, muscles tighten, stress hormones rise, breathing becomes quicker and shallower. Everything mobilizes to respond to a perceived threat. This is literally the response system that keeps us alive. The second is the parasympathetic nervous system: rest, digest, restore. This is where your heart rate slows, your muscles relax, your digestion resumes, and your body can actually recover. This is where healing happens. Now, here's the key thing. Your nervous system is constantly listening to your breath. This is why your breath controls your stress. Shallow, rapid breathing signals danger. It tells your nervous system something is wrong. Stay alert. Keep the alarm on. Slow, deep breathing signals safety. It tells your nervous system, we're okay. You can rest now. Your heart relaxes, your body relaxes, and your mind can relax as well. This is a direct biological response. A few slow breaths with long, deep exhales. It's important to be specific here. Long, deep exhales can send direct signals to the brain to lower heart rate and blood pressure. Those breaths also stimulate the vagus nerve, one of the main communication pathways between the brain, heart, lungs, and digestive system. And when it's activated, it carries one message throughout your entire body: you are safe. The challenge is that many of us are living in a state of chronic low-level activation: emails, traffic, phones, financial stress, relationship tension, incessant stimulation. The body often interprets modern life itself as a danger. Our nervous systems are in a constant state of alert. But conscious breathing gives the body a different message. Instead of danger, the breath can communicate safety. And with just a few slow, intentional breaths, you can begin interrupting the stress response itself, shifting heart rate, hormones, tension, emotional and mental reactivity in real time, not in weeks of practice, not after years of meditation, in just a few breaths. So let's get back to the meeting of ancient and modern minds. What's remarkable is that pranayama is thousands of years old. The sages who developed those techniques had no technical concept of the vagus nerve or stress hormones or heart rate variability, and yet what they discovered through direct experience maps almost perfectly onto what modern neuroscience is now measuring. The way you breathe shapes the way you experience your life. The ancients described these shifts through energy, consciousness, prana. Modern science describes them through nervous system regulation, hormones, and brain states. Different languages, same human experience. And the beautiful thing is you can feel it for yourself, here and now. So rather than keeping this theoretical, let's try a short practice together. I'm going to guide you through 5 slow breaths: a simple inhale, a gentle pause, a slow exhale, another gentle pause, 5 times. And I want you to notice what happens. In the yoga tradition, these pauses have a name: kumbhaka, the space between the breaths. We'll go into that much deeper in another video, but for now, I just want you to look for it or be aware of it, not forcing or holding aggressively, just noticing the moment of stillness between the in-breath and the out-breath, and the out-breath and the in-breath and the next breath. Let's begin. If it feels comfortable to you, allow your body to soften a little bit. Relax your jaw, relax your shoulders, close your eyes. Begin by taking a long, slow, deep inhale through the nose, noticing that gentle pause at the top, and then a slow exhale through the nose if that's comfortable, and then just noticing the gentle pause at the bottom. Before you return to the next inhale, and noticing the pause. Exhaling, allowing it to be slow and long and deep. And then just taking a moment to notice the pause. See if you can notice the natural rhythm of your breath when it's ready to inhale. Allow it to happen. Notice between the inhale and the exhale, there's a pause. Let the exhale come naturally. Maybe a little bit more depth. And then the natural pause. And 2 more times, inhaling when you're ready. Pausing as it comes. Exhaling. And pausing. And then just find this last one on your own. After your 5th breath, just sit quietly and notice any shifts or changes in your breath or in your body, maybe in your mind. A little more stillness, a little more space. If you wish to stay in this space a little longer, you can even pause this video, but when you're ready, breathe in gently, open your eyes, and see if you can just continue to notice. Did something just shift? It may be subtle, but it's real. Maybe the mind became quieter. Maybe the body became more spacious. Maybe there's just a little more presence here than there was a few moments ago. Because when the nervous system settles, something deeper and more spacious becomes available. Viktor Frankl wrote or interpreted, between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space lies our freedom. Modern life, every notification, every demand, every scroll is designed to eliminate that space, but conscious breathing is one of the ways we begin reclaiming it. Breathwork, pranayama, has existed for thousands of years, but many of these practices were developed in monasteries and forests and ashrams in quiet environments of simplicity and sacred intention. Today, we need to learn to bring these practices into ordinary life, taking conscious breaths in traffic, stepping away from devices for a few moments of spaciousness, meditative moments between meetings, processing emotions during heartbreak, moving the body and therefore the energy when overstimulated, taking time to respond rather than react in moments of intensity. You don't need a studio, a mat, or an hour of free time. Just a few conscious breaths can begin shifting your state toward more calm, clarity, presence, and self-regulation. The ancients discovered this through practice, and today science is beginning to catch up to what the traditions have pointed towards for thousands of years. The breath is not just what keeps you alive, it influences how you feel, how you respond, how present you are, and how you move through the world. And conscious breathing may be one of the most powerful tools we have for transforming human experience from the inside out, one breath at a time. If this landed for you, click subscribe. We'll be diving deeper into breathwork, meditation, and nervous system regulation, and how these ancient practices can support modern life.